Hey everyone, this week I'm going to show you how to make this bicep inspired patch on the Novation Peak, and it sounds like this. So full disclosure, I actually work for Novation, and if you follow them on their YouTube channel, you might have seen a video showing how to make this patch in under a minute. Now, I made that video, and I made the other ones in that create a patch in under a minute, just to showcase the power of the Peak and how easy it is to get really good sounds in under a minute. And if you don't want to watch this video and you just want to know how to create this patch, you can click the video up here or here, and it will just take you straight there, and you can see how I did this in under a minute. But if you would like to hear how I come about making the patch and some of the basic techniques that I use while creating the patch, keep watching and we'll get to it. So first up, we're going to want to initialize the patch, and then first up, we're going to add a glide time. So in between the notes, if I play them now, you can just hear the single notes and there's no glide in between them. Turn this on. We'll turn it up a lot so you can hear the effect. And you can hear the glide going between those. So we're going to pull that back a bit to around 60. And then now we can look at the oscillators. So for this, we're just going to use two oscillators. We're going to keep them both to sawtooth. And then for the first one, we're going to turn up to full volume. And then for the next one, we're going to turn it down so it's just above 40. Now, one thing that we want to do is to thicken up the sound of the patch. One really easy way to do that is to provide a little detune of one of the oscillators. So to showcase this, I'm going to turn up the volume on oscillator 2, and then we'll bring the fine tune back down. If I play the note, you can kind of hear it's phase cancelling itself out. So I'm just going to hold down a note, and then I'm going to apply the fine tune, and you can hear immediately it will start to thicken up the sound. So you can hear that already, but we're going to just pull it back a little bit. Let's set it about 9. It's a nice sort of thick sound there. From there, we can just turn down the oscillator 2 volume again, and we're going to set that just above 40. Yeah. And then that is pretty much it for the mixer section and the oscillator section. Next up, we're going to start to look at the envelopes. So the amp envelope is effectively like the volume control of the actual sound. So let's set this. We're going to set the attack to a little bit past 0. That way we're not going to get any clicks when we initiate the sound or play a note. The decay, we'll have it up to around 3/4. Sustain is something we're going to want to have to full. So if we have the sustain to 0, you can hear the sound dip down. But if we pull the sustain all the way up, that means as long as I hold the note down, it's going to keep the volume going. So, and then release, pretty self-explanatory. It's just how long after I take my finger off the key that it's going to keep playing the note. So, and there we go for the amp envelope. Next, we're going to set the mod envelope. So again, we're going to have a little bit of attack on there. Decay, we're going to have it just past halfway. Sustain, we want again all the way to full, and then release up about 3/4, just past 3/4. Now, this hasn't actually done anything yet because we still got the filter as we initialize the patch. It just sets it all the way to full. So now what we want to do is we want to control the filter, and I've just have a 24 dB low pass filter. You can see by the LP there. And if I... So instead of us having to control this really quick every time we play a note, we're going to use this envelope to control this filter. And then for the amount of that envelope that's going to control that filter, we're going to use the envelope depth. And you can see it says mod envelope 1. This is mod envelope 1. So we can set the filter to about the 9 o'clock position. And when I play the keys, you can see the voices playing, but you can't actually hear the sound yet. So as I start to introduce some of the envelope depth, which is this envelope here, to the filter, it's going to add this ADSR to this filter. So as we play, still got the voices going. As I increase it, you can start to hear it going. So for this, we're going to pull it down a little bit. Now at this point, if I was just to solo just the sound on its own, so we could So now what we want to do is we want to add some resonance to that filter to kind of give it a bit more bite and kind of give it a little bit more of that sort of liquidy, acidy sort of sound. So let's increase that to like, it's about the 12 o'clock position. Pull it back a little bit. And one thing that when I'm designing a sound is it's a lot of playing with the envelope depth, the filter amount, resonance, and other effects to kind of really get the desired sound that you're after. It's not like a set and forget type thing. It's definitely a lot of playing. And that's the thing that I love about the Peak, is a lot of the features are sort of hands-on. And to be fully transparent, I actually did a 50 patches for the Peak before I even worked at Novation. One of the guys, Enrique, you've probably seen his channel, Ricky Teens, asked me if I wanted to do 50 patches. I was a little on the fence about this synth, but once I got it, I was kind of sold on it. But back to the sound design. So we kind of got our envelope depth, resonance, and the filter going. From here, we can start to add some effects. So we got overdrive and distortion, two that I like to add to nearly all the patches. Just add a little bit of that. And let's pull down. Let's pull down the volume a little bit. And now let's play it with the music so we can hear how it sounds in relation to the rest of the track. Now to thicken it up a little bit more, we're going to add some chorus. We can go to about 37 on the level there. And then lastly, we're going to add some reverb as well. And if I just solo that out again. Let's pull down that reverb time a little bit. Now that is pretty much it. But I listened to the track again from Bicep, and I could hear that the kind of the filter was opening and closing on its own, and it was definitely set to a time. One way you can do that is we're going to use envelope 1 depth, the LFO 1 depth, with the LFO timing to control the filter. So let's, same way that we had the mod envelope controlled by the envelope depth, we're going to use this LFO depth to introduce the LFO to open and close the filter. So we got it soloed already, so. And you can see this kind of gives us a good little indication of the rate. So we can turn that down a little bit. And now we start to introduce LFO1. And now we play with the music. It's kind of getting in pretty close. So I think that's about it for the patch. Obviously, it still sounds a little different, but I think it's in the ballpark and it kind of get you across the line. And again, a lot of this comes from the notes that you're playing as well. I can hear in there they have some of their notes extended and whatnot. It really helps kind of tie all the track together. If I was to guess, I think they would have made this patch on the 101, but that's just me guessing from seeing what equipment they use and whatnot. And it doesn't matter if you don't have a Peak or another synth to make this patch on. I'm going to upload some stems from this. I'm going to upload a stem from the Peak, the bass line, and the chord. The drum loop was just from another pack, so I can't give that out for free, but definitely the pads, the bass line, and the lead, I'll put them a link below so you can get that and start making music and have some fun. And at the end of the day, hopefully I have inspired you to create something today. Until next time, see you later.